Today we're going to be talking about a hurricane that's coming. We've got an airline strike just around the corner. We're going to be talking about some itinerary changes that I'm wondering are going to become a little bit more commonplace. What is going on at the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal? What I feel like you really need to know if you're going to be embarking on a cruise in the New England area this summer. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Wednesday. It is September 11th of 2024. I can't let today go by without remembering what happened here in the United States on September 11th, 2001. I know that people have been impacted. The people that were there at Ground Zero, of course, felt the greatest impact and all over the New York area, but where we live is 3/4 of the way across the United States, and a day does not go by that I don't remember what happened on September 11th, and it's really important that we pause for a minute and remember. So I want to make sure that we as a Let's Go family remember what happened on September 11th and keep the families whose lives were changed forever in our prayers, as well as all of the first responders who came, and many of them gave their lives trying to help other people. My appreciation for first responders was enormous before that day happened, but my respect and my gratitude for them has only increased exponentially. So I just wanted to mark today with a special remembrance of everyone that was affected by that day. Now, how you transition from such an important remembrance to talking about cruising, I don't know, but we're going to go ahead and do it. Alrighty, let's talk for just a minute about departing from the Port of Brooklyn there in New York City. If you're not really familiar with how things go in New York, they've got a couple of main cruise terminals that they use. They use Brooklyn, they use Manhattan, and then right across there is Cape Liberty there in Bayonne, New Jersey, where cruise ships also depart from. Usually certain cruise lines use certain of the cruise terminals there, but it can change, of course, at any time. So if you're going to be sailing out of Brooklyn this year, I wanted to let you know a few things because I have received so many questions about this since I shared our experience with you when we were boarding the Enchanted Princess on August 31st, okay? So as we got to the port, we were a little later getting there than I like to be because the transfer was so late picking us up at the airport. So the first important thing you need to know is I would not rely on the Princess transfers, or quite frankly, it looked like how things were running on the other cruise line transfers as well. If you've done that with different cruise lines, let me know what that looks like. But the company that we had first found, and they had found over at the airport there in Newark, was Norwegian. And Norwegian and Princess were run by the same contractors there. So I would not rely on the transfers. I would fly in the night before and get out by the cruise terminal that you're going to depart from at that point. Or if you want to stay at a hotel near the airport, then book your own Uber or your own taxi to get out to the cruise terminal. That's my first tip. My second tip is go early. So with us not arriving there until 12:30ish, I want to say is what time we got there, the lines were huge. When you get there, they've got like a green lane and a blue lane. You go in the blue lane if you need to pick up your medallion. But after that, they don't have elite or priority embarkation. Everybody is in the same line, and the lines are really, really long. And so there's really no way around that line. They do have an area set aside for guests that need a wheelchair for embarkation, and so you just sit down, you wait in line there, and they'll bring a wheelchair. I don't know if they were short on the staff that they needed to be able to run wheelchairs, or if they were short on wheelchairs, but the wait was a while, but at least they had chairs for people to sit down on while they waited for those wheelchairs to come. So know that I think if you got there closer to 10, maybe your wait wouldn't be as bad. But people who were in our group that arrived even if they had their medallion shipped to their home, they still waited in very, very long lines in order to be able to get on the ship. So if you're someone that has like timed medicine, if you have to have snacks at a certain interval, make sure that you've got those in your carry-on bag that you keep with you, because you're going to be standing in line for quite a while there. Like I said, the only remedy I know is to try it earlier. Sounds like lines were shorter then. So go early, which you can do if you have your own Uber or your own taxi. And then, of course, if you fly in, when you come right out of the terminals there at JFK, it depends on which terminal you come in as to where they let taxis, as to where they let Ubers come. So make sure that you do your research so that wherever you're landing, wherever you're collecting your baggage and then going outside, you know where to get a taxi or an Uber. Alrighty. Now, next, we're going to talk for just a minute about Air Canada. Air Canada has been coming and going from conversations and a little bit of news here and there, but we haven't had any firm dates to put together with a potential strike. And it's been a while now that people have been talking about that, but I keep looking for information. Finally, we've got some. So today is Wednesday, September 11th, like I said. On Sunday night, just after midnight, they are eligible to call a strike. The strike that they call at that point would be for 72 hours. So the flights that would be in that window are the flights that we are aware of right now that could be affected. They do say, Air Canada does, that some flights might start being canceled as early as Friday to try to make it so that people aren't impacted so much by cancellations due to that strike. So what would I do if I were going on a cruise? I would use a different airline. I've kind of thought that the whole time since there's been this strike rumor, but it's been going for quite some time now, so you never really know when to start canceling or moving yourself around. So if you have a cruise in the near term and you are going to be going on Air Canada, you might want to take a look and see who else you can book with instead so that you're not impacted by their strike. All right, and they haven't said anything else about when they might strike after that. My guess is it will depend on whether or not they get what they want with a 72-hour strike. So we'll keep an eye on that, and I'll let you know what's going on. That's the only strike that I've heard of or I'm hearing of right now when it comes to airlines. So hopefully the others will be going just fine. Now we're going to talk about some itinerary changes on Carnival. And there's some reasons that I think this is a really big deal. You know, it seems like we are hearing of itinerary changes a lot more than we used to. Maybe I'm more aware of them, but I do think that they're happening a little more frequently. So actually, Carnival has 5 ships that they're announcing itinerary changes for right now. The really big deal about the itinerary changes, the first one is if you have got private tours booked, you need to know about that, because if you're not on the port the day and the time they expect you, you easily could be charged. Plus, then the day you get there, when you're actually there, you're not going to have the tour that you want. So I thought I would bring you up to date on a few of these. So first of all, we've got Celebrity Celebration. She has a few cruises here that are being impacted. So the January 5th, 2025, May 11th, 2025, June 29th of 2025, and March 15th of 2026 cruises are just going to they're all going to go to the same ports, but their dates are rearranged during the cruise window. So if you're on any of those sailings, let us know in the comments, and pay attention to when your tours are going if you book with a private tour guide, because they don't keep an eye on cruise ship itineraries. They just don't. And so you need to be responsible about that. We've also got the Carnival Elation. This is really interesting. They're changing which private island they're going to visit. So I haven't seen this a whole lot. So let me know if you have. The November 8th of 2025 and the November 24th of 2025. They're not going to go to Half Moon Cay after all. They are going to go to Princess Cay. So that's kind of fun. Well, I guess it depends on where you wanted to go. But they are visiting a different private island. The Carnival Conquest, they have their October 1, 2025 cruise is just going to rearrange the ports. Same ports, just different days during the cruise. But then they've got their January 12th of 2026, February 2nd, 2026, February 9th of 2026, and April 27th of 2026. They're not going to go to Bimini after all. They are going to go to Nassau in the Bahamas. So I am glad that they are letting people know about that change. this far in advance so that you can change the cruise that you're sailing on if you were booking it to go to Bimini. And I can see that happening. This year, I get to go on the Ascent in November, and we're going to go to Bimini, and I am really excited because it looks absolutely beautiful there, and it's kind of been on my list. I haven't been there yet in the Bahamas. So if you've been to Bimini before, put it in the comments, would you? Tell me what I should be sure to not miss. Right now, I think I have booked to go like on a beach excursion where you can go to the beach and enjoy like the pool and the beach and everything. I'm more interested in the pool than I am, I am more interested in the beach than I am in a pool. I can go to a pool anywhere, but to get to go on the beach with that beautiful, beautiful sand and that beautiful water, I'm actually really looking forward to that. And so those are the changes that are going to be on the Conquest. And then the Jubilee, which sails out of Galveston. And heads up, a lot of the cruises that sail out of Galveston go to Cozumel, Costa Maya, and Roatan for Mahogany Bay there in Honduras. That seems to be the top cruise destinations there. I'm not saying that there are never any others, but those are the main cruise destinations for cruise ships that sail out of Galveston. And for their February 14th, 2026 sailing, they are just going to rearrange the order in which they visit the different ports. So if you're booked on that cruise, make sure that you take note of that. And the reason I also wanted to make sure you knew about all of these changes is because sometimes emails that are destined for us as cruise passengers don't make it to us. So I want to make sure I try to keep everybody up to date. The other Carnival cruise ship that's a really big deal, we've been thinking about it a lot since they've had to miss their last cruise. Right now, the Carnival Vista, and the guests who were supposed to be sailing September 7th, didn't get to go. And so all of these people, I follow John Heald on Facebook. If you want to read some entertaining posts, you should follow John Heald. He does an excellent, excellent job. But all of these people are asking him if the Vista is going to be ready to sail by this weekend on September 15th. And he said that the engineers who are working on the Carnival Vista say that they have, quote, no reason to think that the ship won't be back in service on September 15th. So I've got my fingers crossed with everyone here. Let me know in the comments if you're booked on the Carnival Vista for September 15th. We're thinking of you and hope you actually get to go on that cruise. Now, a quick update, weather has played such a large part of this cruise season this year. It's been a big hurricane season there as far as you think of all the Caribbean cruises, and we've got Hurricane Francine heading to New Orleans. In fact, this evening on Wednesday night, she is due to hit Louisiana, make landfall as a Category 1 hurricane. Now, not a lot of cruises sail out of Louisiana, but some do, and it's that whole Gulf region there that can be affected. And so very specifically, Carnival is watching it because of the Carnival Valor that sails in and out there. Right now, the Carnival Valor is on a 5-night cruise there to the Western Caribbean from Louisiana. And so they've let the passengers know there might be itinerary changes. They might have to stay out a little bit longer. I'll keep an eye on it and let you know what we hear about that. So I wanted to add that our thoughts and prayers, and I hope yours too, will be with anyone that lives in the area there in Louisiana where it's supposed to make landfall, as well as everyone coming up through there that the weather is going to affect with that hurricane. Truly, our thoughts, Gordon and I's thoughts and prayers are with you, and we're thinking of you. There is so much in commotion right now, so many people to pray for and so many things to keep in mind. So I just want you to know that our heart is with you. Thank you so much for being here with me every day. If you haven't subscribed yet, would you please go ahead and hit that subscribe button? And if you appreciate my updates, would you please give this video a thumbs up? I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.